Is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are still enjoying last night's win in Pittsburgh, where they scored 28 second-half points on their way to a 35-25 victory over Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. It was especially sweet for one of Rodgers' old weapons in Green Bay, Christian Watson. He returned to the field roughly 10 months since tearing his ACL and made his presence felt, catching 4 passes for 85 yards. You could tell afterwards how impactful Coach Matt LaFleur thought he was.
Just to get him back in the fold, you can see it's just his ability to do so many different things. He's such an intelligent football player. He's obviously a specimen. It was great to see him get back out there. I know the journey that he's been on. It's been a long road.
The Packers improved to 5-1-1 on the year and in first place in the NFC North. In fact, if the playoffs started today, the team would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Unfortunately, playoffs do not start today. Instead, the team needs to start getting ready for a visit from the Panthers coming up on Sunday. Turning to Wisconsin, they're in the midst of their second bye week. They will look to regroup after an 0-4 month of October, in which they were outscored by 99 points. Wisconsin can return next weekend to face Washington.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Bucs are back home after losing on the road in Cleveland last night. They will be back in action tomorrow night against the Knicks at Fiserv Forum. And the Badgers gearing up for their second exhibition game on Wednesday against UW-Platteville. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
He led the NFL in receiving yards today. What was working for you?
Man, it's just an incredible experience being able to come out here in front of our fans that travel so well and just put on. Like Jordan said, we came out at halftime, really just focus on being us and playing that true Packer brand of ball, bullying the bully, coming into a hostile environment. Ultimately, I'm just grateful that God put me here, the Green Bay Packers organization, surrounded me with such great people, and we can come out here and play a great game on beautiful weather.
And we have a special video. We had your bar in your hometown. I think we can roll the video. Here they are, very excited for you. What's your message for them back in your small hometown?
Man, I'm just so grateful. Everything that they do for me behind the scenes, they're just, I don't have the words to articulate how I feel in the moment. It's just immense gratitude, and we just got to keep pressing on. We got to keep stacking these wins and keep rolling. But Timberlake, I love you. Thank you guys so much.
When we came in the locker room at halftime, we just weren't finishing, we weren't executing our plays, and we weren't locked in on doing that. Everybody's 111. And so I think the message was just do your job, lock in, and execute the plays, and stay on the field. And we did that.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Little sound from both of the two stars last night, Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft. I just love watching Tucker Kraft. I was texting with a friend earlier today about this, and this is going to sound like I'm ripping another player to compliment one, and I guess I kind of am. But I told a friend this morning, I'm like, it's so much more fun watching Tucker Kraft play football. Like, football is so much more fun when you have a tight end like that on your team compared to, like, Richard Rodgers. Or, with all due, Robert Tonyan or whoever. Like, there's only, at any given time, 1, 2, 3 of those guys in football. Like, in my life, there's been Kittle, and there's been Gronkowski, and then, like, Jimmy Graham for a flash. And remember Jordan Reed? Remember Jordan Reed for, like, a month? The month that he was healthy in Washington? Like, there's just so few of those guys. There's incredible wide receivers everywhere, and there's great running backs everywhere, and there's great pass rushers everywhere. The league has never been more athletic and more explosive. There's so many fun players everywhere. There's just not a lot of humans built and wired like Tucker Kraft. And to have one of those guys on your team is very fun. I enjoyed it last night, on top of obviously the Packers winning. So that's why I put Tucker Kraft in the intro. You heard a little bit of Jordan Love there describing the change from the first half to the second half. And it continues a theme that we've been hearing from Love and LaFleur. And I heard it from LaFleur earlier today. I'll play you the sound later on in the show. And this afternoon's press conference. What's preventing you from being the team that you've been in stretches, but not for entire games or consistently week after week? It's the details. It's the little things. It's the execution. So that's what you heard from Jordan Love. Some sound from last night as we react to the Packers coming from behind to beat Pittsburgh. Very enjoyable game. And again, very fun to watch Tucker Kraft. This is the Wisco Sports Show presented by Road America. My name is Grant Bills. Hope you had an excellent weekend. Really, I do. We'll talk a lot of Packers football tonight. I'll give you 5 to 7 minutes on the Badgers. I have a couple of specific things that I need to say. And if you want to call and talk more Badgers, you can, but it's going to be about 90% Packers. And then the Monday mailbag at the end of the show as well. So submit your questions, grantbills21@gmail.com. Had a pretty banging mailbag last week, so I would like to keep that momentum going. Your texting calls welcome throughout 608-321-1670. I'll get to you right after this first break if you want to talk Packers. And the show live streams as well. The Wisco Sports Zone app is very nifty. It has all of our shows. You can watch them all live. The podcasts are on there as well. And then Zach and Jesse and all their Badgers content, audio and video. You can find that there. I'd also appreciate if you throw me a subscription. The YouTube page, it's free. It takes like a second for you. Just look it up, the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills. And it's another place, very easy to go watch the show there. Or I'm really doing my best to post any interview on the show. I cut that up individually and post it individually so you can watch. I believe that's snackable content, consumable little bits and bites, not a 2-hour show, but maybe a 10 or a 12-minute interview. Those get posted. So I would appreciate a subscription because it helps me make a couple of bones too. And as I said last week, I'm gearing up to buy a new pack of socks. I did laundry this weekend. These socks, they have some life left in them. Put a couple subscriptions, get a nice new big socks. Aren't cheap in the big 2025. So that's my goal right now. Help me accomplish that, please. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Last night was a very weird viewing experience. It was quite a roller coaster between the first half and the second half. I'm sure you can relate. First half, I am getting annoyed at Matt LaFleur for play calling. Pass catchers are dropping balls on third down, Tucker Kraft and Romeo Doubs. And then the kicker misses 2 kicks, and we're mad at McManus, and why did we ever bring him back? The Haversack guy was making kicks, and I'm sitting watching in my bedroom, and I'm sad because I'm feeling like the Packers are going to lose this game in front of a national audience against their old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, in a game that they're favored. Like, this is a game that the Packers should win, right? So that makes me sad. But also, selfishly, to put the me in media here, I'm annoyed and I'm filled with dread because I'm thinking, oh, this week's going to suck. Like, I don't want to do 6 hours of live radio for an entire week where we got to complain about Matt LaFleur and we got to talk about a stupid kicker controversy. Nothing interests me less. And we got to talk about drops on third down and little details and execution. I'm like, okay, so not only does it look like the Packers might lose a game that they should win, which is a fan and owner, bums me out. Like, I don't want to do this for a full week. I don't want to do a week of shows with Bill and then this show from 4 to 6 where we got to cover all this material. Well, fast forward 90 minutes or so, the Packers outscore the Steelers 28-9 in the second half. And this game for me, in a span of 90 minutes, turned into their best game in 6 weeks, 5 weeks, month and a half, however long it's been. Go back to the Washington game, which I believe was September 12th on Thursday Night Football. Just that second half alone, really the tail end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, was enough to turn a game that should have been a disaster. And just a quarter and a half of football made it feel like a signature win in like 45 minutes of game time. And I think that tells us something a little bit about the team as well. Like last week, I expressed a little skepticism, not that the Packers were good, but I expressed a little skepticism that maybe the Packers were as elite as everyone was thinking or hoping. It's like, well, guys, I like their offense, but if Romeo Doubs is their best wide receiver and Josh Jacobs has been fine and their O-line has been fine, like, should we really be expecting more than we've seen? Should we be expecting 4 quarters of great football? Should we be expecting, instead of scoring 27 points, which is what they had done in all their previous wins, should we be expecting more than that? Are we asking too much? And watching them take 45 minutes of real time, really about a quarter's worth of time between the end of the third quarter to about 5 minutes left of the fourth quarter, they turned it on and they ratcheted it up so hot and heavy that they turned a disaster into a signature win like that. And doesn't that kind of speak to their ability and their potential? Now, it remains to be seen if they ever reach it, right? If they're ever able to stack 3 or 4 elite games in a row, which is what it takes to make a run and to win a championship. Who knows? But like last night, that's just a pop under the hood, a quick glance without any wrenching, without any digging, without any flashlighting under the hood. It's like, oh yeah, I can see in just about a quarter of game time. That went from disaster, it's about to be a miserable week on Sports Talk Radio, to, oh, that's their best win in like 6 weeks. Like that. Like that. In about a quarter of game time, 45 minutes of real time. And you could clearly see, by the way, the difference between the Packers and the Steelers all game long. Even when the Packers were scuffling a little bit in the first half, I'm texting my friends. We were always texting in a group chat, or we're talking to the people we're watching with. I'm like, guys, I think the Steelers kind of stink relatively. They're not awful, but like this team isn't blowing me away. I'm not watching this first and second quarter thinking, well, the Steelers they're flying around. They're playing way better than I thought. I'm like, this team is kind of just okay. They're just kind of solid. And my team can't get after them, right? It felt, even when the Packers weren't playing well, you could clearly see the talent difference, speed, depth, physicality. It was a little bit like watching Wisconsin play Ohio State when Wisconsin didn't absolutely suck and blow, like I think of the Jack Cohn year, right? When everything is perfect and the game is going according to plan and the team is sticking to the script, Wisconsin can hang in there, right? They can move the ball and they can put together drives and they can score a little bit, and they can find themselves in a spot in the fourth quarter where they could maybe steal a game against the Buckeyes. Even though it hasn't happened recently. Like if everything goes according to plan and there's no huge, massive mistakes and the game is going according to script, like it's there. You're able to be in that game and maybe even steal a win. But there's the moment, the second there's a penalty or a sack or a play that doesn't gain yards, and now instead of being in 2nd and 6, you're in 2nd and 10, you're kind of cooked, right? Like the Packers, it was clear they have so much more ability and speed and depth and physicality. And when the Steelers were staying ahead of schedule and staying ahead of the sticks, and they weren't making any mistakes and they weren't going backwards and they weren't committing penalties, the Steelers were in that game and they were capable of playing in that game the way that Jack Cohn's Badgers once upon a time were able to hang in there with a much more talented, dynamic, deep, athletic offensive or Ohio State team. But the second that the Steelers were in 2nd and 11 or 3rd and 12, it's like they're done. They're cooked. They don't have the O-line to protect. Rodgers isn't dynamic enough to extend plays long enough against this Packers pass rush. And it's not his fault. He's 41? They're just kind of cooked. And a team like that has a ceiling. If your team always needs to be ahead of the sticks and can't deal with any penalties or any sacks or any negative plays, like there's a hard ceiling on that team. And you could see that ceiling last night watching the Steelers. Whereas with the Packers, it's like they could make a mistake. They could go backwards once. They could deal with a penalty and be fine. The Steelers, not so much. This is Aaron Rodgers after the game last night. 2 questions and 2 answers about being in 3rd and long, because that was kind of the story. Pittsburgh could move the ball and be okay, but the second they're in 2nd and 3rd and long, it was kind of over for them on any given drive.
Aaron, what does an offense have to do when you get behind the sticks to be able to overcome that? Like you were talking about those 3rd downs in the high red zone.
Yeah, we had too many penalties, too many negative yardage plays, and then I wasn't accurate enough on 3rd down, and we weren't creating enough space. But we'll look at the film, and we'll get better, and we got a good team coming in next week.
I guess when you look at those, is it more about what do we do on 3rd and long, or what do we do to not get into 3rd and long?
Well, it's either we're having a sack we had a sack on 1st down on one drive. We had a 15-yard penalty on 3rd and 2 after the play that went to 3rd and 17. Those aren't high conversion drives or plays. So, we got to be better on 1st and 2nd down. I thought we ran it pretty well at times. Didn't get as much out of the keeper game as we have been. Didn't get as much out of the action game.
And while the Packers don't want to live in 3rd and long either, it's not a death sentence for them. In fact, they've actually been pretty darn good on 3rd down. I saw Bukowski share this stat earlier today. I'll throw it up on the simulcast if you're watching the live stream. This is from Rich Hribar. I've never seen this count before, but he's got like 80,000 followers. Good football data. The Packers have converted a league high 48% of their 3rd and long plays, which is 3rd and 7 or greater. The next closest team, the Rams, have converted 33%. The league average is 24. So again, what felt like a death sentence and what was a death sentence for the Steelers last night? If it was 3rd and 10, they're just cooked. Aaron Rodgers was going to check the ball down. He was just going to get the ball out or take a sack because they can't protect. They don't have the depth. They don't have the talent or the ability on offense where the Packers can play a game that's imperfect and still move the ball and still be successful. The Packers last night looked the part of a team that was a 2.5-point road favorite against a 4-2 team. Off a 10-day rest, by the way. The Steelers had been coming off a mini-bye because their last game was a week ago Thursday against the Bengals, the game that they lost, but they're rested. They're at home. They're 4-2, and here come the Packers, and they're 2.5 road favorites, 2.5-point road favorites. And yeah, the Packers weren't perfect, and play calling and little details and didn't play a complete game, and yeah, and we're going to nitpick a few things. I got my list. We'll nitpick all week. But for Packers fans that find themselves frustrated today, again, I'm going to tell you, and I saw someone make this comment on the live stream too, please watch other games. You don't have to watch every single game, but occasionally throw on another game. Find me the team or the coach or the quarterback that's perfect every week for 4 straight quarters, never makes mistakes on offense, never any penalties, never any slop, never any mistakes. Like true Super Bowl contenders, the true blue blood Super Bowl contenders. And right now I consider like Kansas City, Buffalo, Detroit, Indy, probably, Philly. Those teams might play 2 or 3 bangers a year where it's like from the rip, they're off and running and they win 42-10. They might play a couple of those. But week to week, even the best teams are battling and going through rough stretches because that's football. And look, by the end of the year, I hope we get a couple of perfect complete games from the Packers. And luckily it's October 27th, so there's plenty of time. So at some point, I would like to see them play a complete game. I'm just not walking into these games every Sunday thinking, you better score a touchdown every drive, and you better get a stop on every drive for 4 straight quarters, because that's not how football works. And if that's what you're, again, turning on your TV to see, I'll tell you, go watch A Wonderful Life. Just rewatch that every Sunday, because you know how it's going to end. It's always going to work out perfectly. That's not how sports are. So, yeah, the Packers weren't perfect, and we'll nitpick, but I think their best win since Washington. You saw the explosive firepower, Christian Watson looking really good coming back. They still can't really run the ball. And yet they looked the part of an elite team that was favored on the road against a team with the rest advantage and a veteran quarterback by 2.5 points. And I think the eye test absolutely jumped off the screen last night when comparing these two teams and their limitations, or in the case of the Packers, their lack thereof. Let's take a 3-minute break. Any of your thoughts on the Packers? Welcome. We'll open up the phone line, 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
The Green Bay Packers. That was really impressive. That's the best half of football, and really just, I would say, the best game. I know they started a little sluggish, but they're on the road against the Steelers after they had a mini bye, given they played last Thursday. Like, you're at a disadvantage. That's the best performance they've had, I don't know, in 30, 35, 40 days since the first couple weeks of the season. And it was all about the quarterback and the offense. If Jordan Love is going to play like that, this team can win the AFC. Because the NFC.
So our friend John Middlecoff on his live stream last night, I agree. It's still maybe not the perfect game, the Goldilocks game that every Packers fan is looking for, where they play a perfect full quarters and they win 42-10. Like, yeah, I think in order to really buy into a team as a Super Bowl contender, at some point, I need to see a game like that. But even the best teams maybe have 2-3 of those a year. And the Packers really haven't had theirs yet, unless you want to count Detroit. I think I kind of do. But still, all things considered, a game where they basically only needed 1 quarter of elite play to win, which I think shows you their potential. A great team takes a game that feels like a catastrophe and turns it into a signature win in like 45 minutes of real time. That's what we saw the Packers do last night. So a signature win, get to 5-1-1, their best win in 5, 6, 7 weeks since whenever the Washington game was. I'm not doing the calendar math right now. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. And really good considering where I thought that thing was going in the middle of the second quarter. 608-321-1670. Some of your calls. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Alex and Madison.
Hey, Alex. What's going on?
I got 2 talking pieces for you about the game last night.
Hit me.
The first one is I think that game was a perfect, stark contrast between Love and Rodgers. You notice that Rodgers, even within the first 5-10 minutes of the game, he's already yelling at his guys, he's already yelling on the sideline. The offense wasn't really clicking for us in the first half, but Love is staying pretty calm and collected. And then when he punches back in the second half and Rodgers is still, upset, it kind of reminded me of some of the old Packer games where they would get punched in the mouth early and they just wouldn't really be able to respond. And Love has been responding in a lot of these tough situations since the home opener when he first started. Remember that Saints game down 17-0 to Derek Carr? We're like, oh, geez. And they came all the way back. And I really like that about the kid. I really do.
He's very even-keeled. Absolutely, Alex. Those are 2 great points. I have a couple of Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love talking points. I don't know that this is the game where we need to pit them against each other. However, Matt LaFleur did say this after the game. This is what I thought of when you were talking there, Alex. I had to go grab it because Mike Clemens sent it earlier today.
There's moments where you can sense the frustration from him, but he keeps going. And I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of like it when he gets a little pissed off because you don't see it too often.
Yeah, maybe getting a little pissy is okay. Aaron Rodgers was letting it fly a little bit last night, but also I don't think that's prohibitive of success. Like, I've seen Aaron Rodgers MF and really be charged up in games where he's played great and his team has won. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
This is the mayor of Entitled Town, Grant.
Hey, Tony.
Yes, the Packers are finally living up to their billing. And I'm going to keep it on the positive tip because it looks like Toyota-thon came a little bit early. Jordan Love was cooking yesterday. And the one little beef I got with LaFleur, though, is when he's cooking, he doesn't let him cook. Let the man cook. On the bright side, I will say this. Emmanuel Wilson kind of taking that James Starks role. I think Jacobs is banged up. You got a little bit of a burst from Wilson. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's on my list tonight. I just wish they'd let Jacobs sit out a week. because he doesn't look good.
I agree.
Wilson looked so much better than him last night. And if Jacobs was cooking and really, really helping them win while playing injured, that's one thing. But he's out there playing hurt on a pitch count, and he's mostly sucked. And I know he had the nice touchdown run, and that was big because it was a huge moment in the game, and that was like a veteran, like smart goal line play that he made. But Wilson looks so much better. Just like let Jacobs miss a week. It's okay.
Yeah, a couple of other funny points. Keyshawn Nixon on the punt return, that just made me laugh with Bisaccia. I mean, that makes no sense at all. Quay Walker, showing the composure. That's growth, man. Not to retaliate over, DK poking him, doing like a Three Stooges poke to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really huge. And then, just finishing the game, maturity, staying calm. That was growth, man. And I just wish they would just put the pedal to the metal. I know that these are NFL guys. I know they're all getting paid, but just put them away. I thought they did that for the most part yesterday, so I think that's growth. So good job, Packers.
Excellent call. Excellent points, Tony. I appreciate the efficiency, as these days, Mondays after a game, we're a little bit quicker. There's Suvi on hold. Give me 30 seconds. The one Matt LaFleur drive that really crawled up my butt yesterday, because some of those drives in the first half stalled out. I mean, Tucker Kraft just has a ball right in his breadbasket and he drops it. Now, we could argue about the strategy. They're really comfortable being in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. And you like your chances converting in those situations. But like when you live in 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5, because you're handing the ball off on 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, well, guess what? If you hit a guy in the breadbasket and he drops it on 3rd and 5, your drive is porked. So sometimes, like, I'm okay with a little more aggression, just trying to avoid 3rd down altogether. And Matt LaFleur loves his 2nd and 10 runs, which can lead to coin flip plays on 3rd down. It's like, well, yeah, assuming there's no drops, assuming nothing goes wrong, like you can live in 3rd down. I don't want to live there all the time. The one drive in the first half that the Matt LaFleur thing crawled at my butt was when they got the ball. See, it would have been 7-3. Second quarter, 3:30 had gone by, or the drive actually started, it looks like, I'm looking at the blow-by-blow here. The drive started with 3:20 left in the first quarter, and they picked up one first down, and they went Savion Williams off right guard, 2nd and 10. Jordan Love, short pass to Matthew Golden, -1 yard. And then they uncork one to Romeo Doubs in a game where Christian Watson and Matthew Golden are both healthy. And I just watched that, and I'm like, when was the last time a Savion Williams running play worked? Week 1, maybe. Matthew Golden is a good downfield receiver. Use him that way. So that was the one driver. I'm like, why is Matt LaFleur gilding the lily here? They just, the previous drive, they had gone 6 plays, 67 yards. It's like, there it is. That's the offense against the Steelers defense. And then the next drive, it's like, well, let's get Savion Williams involved. I don't need to see Savion Williams at all. I know he had a touchdown last night. If he didn't play another snap on offense the rest of the year, I'd be fine. They have too many other guys, good guys, older guys, better guys right now. So I just stop wedging him in with that crap. And I'm not anti-jet sweep. A lot of people are. I'm not anti-jet sweep on principle. I'm anti-jet sweep when it hasn't worked in a month and a half and the offense is moving and we're like, well, let's try this. I'm anti that thing. And we saw that in I think it would have been the 3rd drive of the game. Yeah, the 3rd offensive possession they had. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Andy in Altoona.
Hey, Andy, what's going on? Go Rails.
Not go Rails. Hey, so I had a buddy of mine who I used to work with in Eau Claire, and he's moved to Arizona. He's a Packer fan. And he said, hey, I was talking to my in-laws, and they said, like, everybody in Wisconsin just, like, hates Jordan Love. Like, what's going on? Like, I thought he was pretty good. And there's just a lot of Jordan Love hate. And I was trying to figure it out and explain to him, but I think I figured it out. Tell me what you think. So when Rodgers came in for Favre, it was all this criticism, like, oh, he doesn't take enough chances. He's not going to be as good as Favre. And then it was the playoff game against the Falcons where he just went lights out. And since then, that has been the bar. Like anything less than that, Rodgers got criticized every season after that, whenever he didn't have a perfect game. And I feel like Love is under the same scrutiny. You know, he had the Dallas playoff game, lights out. Anything less than that, like last night was great. I'm still hearing people like, it was all right.
I heard it on the morning show for what it's worth. Like there were a couple calls where it's like, I still don't know. It's like, what are you trying to know?
What are you waiting for? Like what else? Like, but really that's the bar. Rodgers set that bar of like that perfect game, and anything less than that now is just not good enough. It's mediocre. You know, like I don't get it.
I think there's some truth to that. I appreciate it, Andy. I'm just going to keep it moving because we got 2 more callers I want to get to before this break. I think Middlecoff brought this up on his pod where it's like Love was so great in that stretch in the second half of his rookie year. Everyone knows it's there. Like everyone knows he's capable of it. So when he plays elite now, it's not, oh my God, like what the Patriots fans are experiencing right now. They're like, can you believe what Drake May is doing? When Jordan Love does something amazing now, it's like, can you believe this? Yeah, I saw it in like his 8th game. So he's a little bit of a victim of his own success. For the people who don't like, they say, well, I still don't know about Jordan Love. Okay. Like, I don't know that he's going to play for 15, 16 years and be the next Hall of Famer. Yeah, I don't know about that thing either. Nobody should. But like, how do you watch this guy and think, I don't know if he's the next franchise guy. I don't know, man. Again, watch some other games. Like, watch what Caleb Williams is trying to figure out, or watch Bryce Young, or watch Michael Penix, or even Bo Nix. I know the Broncos were great yesterday. There's been plenty of games where it's like, man, is Bo Nix going to be the reason this team can't succeed? So I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to say there's a lot of Jordan Love hate. There's a good amount of skepticism. And I think you're right, Andy, and other people have pointed that out. We all saw it his first year, so that's the bar. So when we see him do something amazing, it's not, oh my God, did you see that? It's like, well, there it is. We've been waiting for it. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this? Hello? Hello. Line number 4. All right. I'm going to put you back on hold. We're going to go to one other caller. I'll try again here in a minute. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Rick. Very happy with Jordan throwing it to Tucker, but the main reason I'm calling you is you sound just like Jim Rome, just like last Monday. You're not on WKTY.
What is on WKTY?
Jim Rome.
Well, take it up with your local representative. I don't program the station. Call the building and bitch. I guess I'll send some more emails. I don't know what to tell you, Rick. Sorry, I'm not in charge there. Let's try this line one more time. Thank you for letting me know, though, Rick. 608-321-1670. One more time. Is there anybody there?
Grant, it's Q. Sorry about that. I was on mute.
No, you're all good. That's why I came back to you. What's up, Q?
I feel like, you know me, I'm not a big LaFleur guy, but last night gave me a lot of confidence. I did not expect that second half in a high-pressure game. And I know he played it cool all week, but he wanted that game more than any other regular season game this year. And sure. I don't know. I guess who do you give credit to more, LaFleur or Love for last night?
Probably Love. I wasn't blown away with what LaFleur was doing. I think they came into this game, Q, with the idea that they were going to be able to run the ball for the first time in forever. And then they really couldn't. And it's like, all right, I guess we'll let Love sling it. And they did.
I just haven't seen many. I can't recall many comeback wins in LaFleur's tenure. Most of his big wins are blowouts. Like his biggest win, the coach, was that Dallas playoff win. And that was a boat race from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited that, like you were saying in your open, this team showed some wherewithal and some grit that I haven't seen from a Matt LaFleur team in a long time. So,
I mean, it's a good call, Q. I appreciate it. They did mount a comeback last week against Arizona. It was pretty darn impressive. Again, on the road, in a hole that was of their own creation. Yeah, and it was of their own creation a little bit last night, too. Just drops on third down, missed kicks, which I don't even want to talk. If you're like, I want to call in today and get Grant's take on the kicker controversy. Don't, because I don't care. Like, I'm just going to wait and hope McManus makes all his kicks next weekend because I hate talking about kickers. It does not interest me. We'll take a break, 5 minutes, get to some of your texts on the other side. Remember the Monday mailbag at the end of the show. So get your questions submitted, grantbills21@gmail.com. And I got some Badgers thoughts for you at the very end of this hour, the last 8 minutes. I'll give you some thoughts on what I saw Saturday.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Trusting the guys is the key, though. In those 2 moments last night in the second half where he just kind of threw it up.
Yeah, no.
You think about Aaron Rodgers and how particular he is about his touchdown to interception ratio and how he's got to fully trust a guy before he takes a chance.
He's the opposite.
Jordan Love's like, what the hell? I do trust my guy.
Right.
I'm not going to micromanage my guy.
Right.
I'm not gonna only throw it if I've had that same look in practice and I know exactly what keyhole to put the ball into.
Yeah. Florio. Come on, Michael. Always needling, always taking a shot. Well, Jordan Love threw up a couple of prayers that were answered, and that was obviously the Packers' issue, and Rodgers is there, is he didn't throw up enough jump balls. Look, I think it's important for a quarterback to find a balance of being aggressive and managing or, mitigating the best you can the risk that comes with that. But it is funny to me, and I think reasonable, I gotta be careful, rational, realistic Packers fans. And I think most Packers fans are. But I don't know if you've ever heard this. Fan is short for fanatic, after all. I think a lot of fans have realized that it's a little ridiculous that Aaron Rodgers' touchdown to interception ratio is all of a sudden now a bad thing. Like, the problem with Aaron Rodgers is he didn't throw enough interceptions. I think there is some nuance and some truth to, like, hey, you got to be able to attack the middle of the field. Not every ball that's pushed down the field can be on the boundary. Back shoulder one-on-one, that's a tough way to live, and we've talked about that for years. I've always said Rodgers sometimes makes football a little bit harder than it needs to be. When you need to thread the needle on a perfect back shoulder throw because you only want to throw towards the boundary, it's going to limit you offensively. But was it Tyler and Madison? Or I can't remember the caller in the last segment. We took a bunch of them. Basically said, well, it was nice to see Jordan Love not cussing out his teammates, and Aaron Rodgers was. It's like, well, we don't always need to make it an Aaron Rodgers v. Jordan Love thing. But I thought that commentary was interesting from Florio and Sims early today. I also, maybe it's perception, like it's, we all see things a little differently. I didn't think of the Christian Watson play as a prayer. It felt like it out of the hand, but then you watch it from the end zone angle from behind, and Watson was running a deep drag or a deep post or whatever route that would be. And if that was just a prayer that Jordan Love threw with his eyes closed, then it was a pretty good one because it was right over the outstretched eyes of one player and over the arms of one player, right behind, right into the breadbasket of Watson. If you want to tell me that was lucky in a prayer, okay, I guess, sure. If that's the way you want to feel about that. It seemed like a pretty intentional ball that was put in a pretty intentional spot. And then the jump ball to Tucker Kraft, yeah. But he also threw it to the back shoulder on the inside when the defender had his back turned. And again, throwing a jump ball to a tight end who's in one-on-one coverage. Look, if the corner turns around and makes that play, maybe we're ripping Jordan Love today. We probably would be. It's about finding the right gambles and the smart gambles. I think it's a little reductive to say, well, Aaron Rodgers never threw picks, and that was his problem. You know what
Trusting the guys is the key, though. In those two moments last night in the second half where he just kind of threw it up.
Yeah, no.
You think about Aaron Rodgers and how particular he is about his touchdown to interception ratio and how he's got to fully trust a guy before he takes a chance.
It's funny how that's worded. Well, he's so concerned with his touchdown to interception ratio instead of saying, how he never turns the ball over, which is an overwhelmingly good thing, right? But instead it's, well, he's very worried about his precious touchdown to interception ratio.
He's the opposite.
Jordan Love's like, what the hell? I do trust my guy.
Right.
I'm not going to micromanage my guy.
Right.
I'm not gonna only throw it if I've had that same look in practice and I know exactly what
it's a great
to put the ball into.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny. Florio. Just can't help but needle a little bit. Aaron Rodgers had some very nice things to say about the Packers all week, which we talked about last week. Some of you wanted to hear. Some of you did not want to hear. Aaron Rodgers talking about Green Bay coming back after what was the score at halftime? 16-7. Talked about the comeback, or I guess the blown lead for his team a little bit after last night's game. I'll give you a little bit of that sound.
Not a whole lot. I just feel like we had some discipline issues and some penalties that were unnecessary. And then you're not going to win a lot of games when we're so bad on third down. You're playing good teams. You need to score touchdowns, and we just stalled out in the high red zone.
They did stall out, and Boswell made a couple absolute nukes. Although, for all the Packers fans on Twitter last night, like, this Boswell guy never misses. Again, watch other games. No kickers miss in 2025. They all have their balls, and they're prepared and meticulously inflated or set up exactly the way that they want, which has been a change recently, which is why these guys are hitting like what feels like 100% of their kicks. So to say, well, Boswell never misses, actually, that's just kind of an average NFL kicker in 2025. So Boswell made that first half go a little bit better. If McManus hits one of those kicks and Romeo Doubs and or Tucker Kraft make one of those catches, maybe we're not talking about this big-time comeback. We're just talking about a first half that was close and then a second half that was not. I think the failure of the Steelers on third down is a clear line in the sand between a team that's young and explosive and deep and talented, and then a team that's slow and old and limited and kind of just trying to hold open this window and hoping that they can catch magic. And, for the roster that they have, it's not the worst strategy in the world. The Steelers should either be doing this thing or basically blowing it up. And I'm not a big fan of blowing it up. The Steelers certainly aren't. And I think that's what makes them one of the better organizations in football, because once you blow it up, like some of those teams stay at the bottom for a long time. So I don't even argue with the Steelers' strategy necessarily. I cut this audio of Cowherd earlier today, kind of describing the differences in philosophy or the different places in which the Packers and the Steelers are right now. And again, I'm bringing this up because the Steelers are so bad on third down. The Packers great on third down. And anytime the Steelers were in 3rd and 9 or longer, it's like they don't have a chance because they can't block the Packers pass rush. They don't have enough talent at playmaker to get open. And Aaron Rodgers can't extend plays. He would drop back, and after 2 seconds or less, the ball's coming out, even if it's 3rd and 12, and I got to check it down 3 yards down the field because that's their limit. It feels like the Jack Cohen Badgers versus Ohio State, where it's like, hey, if we're in 3rd and 2 or we're avoiding third down altogether, we can hang, and we might have a chance to steal this thing at the end. But if there's one penalty or one negative play, that kind of just kills the whole drive. Here's Cowherd earlier today.
And last night was very instructive for NFL fans. I watched a game between the Packers and the Steelers, and I saw smart and progressive and offensively nimble from one franchise, and then I also watched the Steelers. I mean, these are two franchises going in the opposite direction with the opposite ideology. Aaron Rodgers has done a good job to put some makeup on this organization, but they need a facelift. Two iconic franchises. One of them has embraced offense. One has an old quarterback, one has a young star. One is loaded with young talent at wide receiver and tight end. The other spends a fortune on defense. It's revolutionary against the Rust Belt.
Oh, I love alliteration. That's good. One more Aaron Rodgers thing before we take a break, and I'll give you some thoughts on the Badgers to wrap up the first hour. Coyote Mike says, Grant, that was a ridiculous no call on the Aaron Rodgers incomplete pass, he puts in quotes, which should have been a fumble because he deliberately discarded the ball into the ground as he was in the grasp and his arm was not going parallel and forward in the act of throwing the ball. I'm glad for both Matt LaFleur and Love. The Packers look very formidable in the second half. On that Aaron Rodgers play, I think Packers fans got a little taste of probably what Vikings and Bears fans and Lions fans have been getting forever. Where it's like Rodgers is so smart, he knows the rules, and he does this thing that shouldn't be allowed, or it should be a penalty, or it shouldn't work out for him, and it does, and you're left like pulling your hair out. We got a tiny little microdose of what Vikings fans and Bears fans have been getting for the better part of 20 years. And I actually think that's kind of interesting perspective. Like I get a kick out of that, mostly because my team won, and it didn't really end up making a difference. It's like, oh, that weird rule where you can throw it at the ground and Aaron Rodgers knows the rule and he's so smart and it should be a fumble, but it's not. Like, that's what's been happening to the Bears and the Vikings and the Lions for almost 20 years. And we got just a tiny little bitty taste of that. And again, I think that's kind of funny. Zach in Altoona says, as a Wisconsin resident who is admittedly a bit of a homer, Mike Florio can pound sand. He is a lifelong Vikings fan and he can't stand Rodgers as a result. He's become a master of framing and nitpicking things in such a way that is always biased against Rodgers. I know he can be annoying on the occasional podcast or interview, but chill, Florio. Maybe turn that skeptical eye on the Vikings' constant quarterback floundering. Dude's a boob. Go Pack Go. I like Mike, mostly because I met him and he was kind of cool. Nothing to do with anything professionally or otherwise. It's just selfishly, again, me putting the me in media. When we come back, a couple Badgers thoughts to wrap up the first hour. And then at 5, we'll get back to Packers Steelers, and I'll take more of your phone calls at 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
This is a tough one to swallow again, but tougher because I thought we put ourselves in a position where we had an opportunity, and I thought defensively, our guys came to play.
Put themselves in a position to have an opportunity. Kind of sounds like what I was saying against or about the Brewers in the NLCS when I was talking about Game 3. It's like, well, if you win Game 3, you put yourself in a spot to give yourself an opportunity to make it a series, right? Lots of qualifiers. So when Luke Fickell says, I thought we put ourselves in a spot to have an opportunity, yeah, it's still a couple of steps away from actually being able to win a game. But I don't, to be fair to Fickell, I don't necessarily disagree. They didn't play like turbo ass. So I guess that's good. I guess he's kind of right there. This is the Wisco Sports Show presented by Road America. We'll get back to the Packers, and I'll take more of your phone calls after 5 o'clock. Just a couple of quick thoughts on the Badgers here. An observation. First game I've watched in its entirety since, I mean, maybe the first one this year. Maybe because the non-conference ones, what are you going to learn from those? And they've been so bad in conference play. Why am I going to sit around and watch a 4-hour game for 4 quarters? So I watched this whole thing, though. And I've said for weeks, and I've told it to Bill, too, keeping it close does absolutely nothing for me because I've seen them do that before. I know they're capable of that. I saw them keep it close against Oregon and Penn State last year. I saw them keep it close against Ohio State 2 years ago. I know they can do it. I know they're capable of trying hard for 4 quarters. I've seen them do it. So on Saturday in Oregon, yeah, they covered. And some of Fickell's guys did play well, like Catalano and the New Mexico kid, Mason Posa, did look very well. Okay. And I suppose to be fair and to give a little credit, that's better than the alternative, which is getting blasted and shut out. Sure. It just doesn't really do anything for me. And someone tweeted at me on Saturday. This was my reply on Sunday. I'll throw it up on the simulcast. If you were watching, otherwise I'll just read it. It is Jake who tweeted at me. These were his recruits outside of quarterback, really. I see the vision. And I said, okay. I replied and said, sorry if this makes me a hater. But, quote, I see the vision in the final stretch of year 3 following 11 straight scoreless quarters amidst 11 straight Power 4 losses doesn't really do it for me. Hey, guys, that doesn't make it move. That doesn't do it for me. They have been getting worse for 3 straight years. They almost just got shut out for the 3rd straight game, and they have not beat a Power 4 opponent in 11 straight tries. And as I keep emphasizing, because I think it matters and bears repeating, they might be the worst team in the Power 4. So to come out of a game in this stretch and say, well, I see the vision. Well, I would have liked to see the vision in like the first month of his first season. That doesn't mean I needed to see wins, although when he took over, they were actually winning some games. The vision needs to be seen long before this spot. I can't start seeing the vision after 2 votes of public confidence amidst an 11-game Power 4 losing streak, amidst almost a third straight shutout. So when people say, well, at least they kept it close, that's nice. Sure. If that's what makes you feel slightly better, I just don't need to feel better. There's nothing in me that needs to polish a turd. I'm just okay with this turd. So I guess that's my point of view. I have a question. And this is not agenda-based. I genuinely do not know the answer. Someone please help me. I want to play a clip for you. This is from the broadcast on Saturday night. And then I'm going to read you something that I saw on the internet to set up this question. This is Tim Brando. Some of you probably heard this on Saturday, talking about Luke Fickell and the way he's been covered locally by Wisconsin people.
Listen, Luke Fickell's been hearing it all. The noise is out there. And they've been banging on the doors at Camp Randall. A lot of no-shows for home games, and he's aware of it. I mean, it's something that he has mentioned more than just a couple of times this week. And with all these podcasters out there now that want to say, well, the relationships with high school coaches just isn't there anymore. How much do they really, really know? Probably not much.
It's a funny comment first because Wisconsin podcasters, Zach and Jesse are 2, by the way. I don't know that there's many people that know more about what's going on at Wisconsin than Zach and Jesse. So when you say, well, what do Wisconsin podcasters really know? It's a funny comment because my answer would be probably a lot. Probably quite a bit, man. They probably know significantly more than the Tim Brandos of the world. It's not even personal to him. It's like if you call a different team, a different school every week, you can't look at the local beat of a particular college and say, well, what do they really know? Probably a lot. That is quite literally their job. They're covering the beat. So I'll play you that clip. It's also weird, like, are people wrong when they say Wisconsin's not in a good place? This is a comment that I saw Big Cat share. This is off an LSU message board last night because they fired Brian Kelly. They're looking for a new coach. And it's titled, "The Coaching Change Board is live. Discuss coaching candidates here. Shortlist, John Gruden, Jack Del Rio, and don't sleep on Luke Fickell. I don't care that he, quote, hasn't had success at Wisconsin, which is debatable anyway. Give him LSU resources and he eats. Our O-line and D-line alone will make him look like a genius. Move fast before another school snatches him." Okay, the reason I play this clip and the reason I read you this post, albeit on a random message board, it's just an example of the thing that I'm trying to get at here. My question is, does anyone outside of the Badger fan base actually pay attention to what's going on? Barry Alvarez included, by the way. Maybe we're in a simulation. Maybe we're getting Truman Showed. Maybe we're watching closed circuit television and we're the only ones being shown this turbo butthole version of a football program right now. Because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. When I listen to Tim Brando, like, well, yeah, Fickell's taking a lot of heat, but how much do those people really know? Timothy, this team sucks ass. They might be the worst team in the Power 4. So if you want to claim that podcasters should pipe down, fine, but are you going to look me in the eye and tell me this program's actually in a great spot and that everyone's being unfair to Luke Fickell? Or someone who's suggesting, well, Luke Fickell should be the next head coach at LSU. Sure, he hasn't had success at Wisconsin, which is debatable. How in any world is that debatable? This program is in an awful spot, and every other day, I have to listen to some other voice around college football tell me that people are overreacting. Now, I sleep like a baby at night. I have no connection to this program. I did not go to UW, and while I am a Wisconsin resident and prefer for the team to be good, it is not ingrained in the fabric of my being like former players or alums or boosters or residents of Madison, right? I don't get it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Why is everyone being like, Wisconsin fans are being hard on Luke Fickell? Is no one else, are you guys not watching? Sometimes I feel like we're the only ones who are actually seeing this product. Reality and what my eyes are seeing, they're not matching up. Hour number 2, we'll get back to the Packers and more of your phone calls next on the other side of Zach's Update. Wisconsin podcaster.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, it's a victory Monday for the Packers. That's after they went on the road last night, beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers 35-25. It was a huge night for Tucker Kraft. Tight end had a career-high 147 yards receiving and a pair of touchdowns. Coach Matt LaFleur was asked if he would be open to building a passing attack around the third-year player.
We'd be crazy not to. He was a beast. He was a man possessed, and he just got to find ways to get him the ball. And, the first touchdown was a cold run where we spit the ball out on the run alert. And the receivers, I can't say enough about those guys. Just the effort that they bring in regards to not only the pass game, which is to be expected, but in the run game, blocking for the backs or blocking for Tuck in that situation.
Jordan Love outplayed his mentor by throwing for 360 yards and 3 scores. The two met at midfield after the game, agreed to swap jerseys at a later date. Green Bay improved to 5-1-1 on the year, leaving them with the fewest losses of any team in the NFC. They will now come home to face Carolina on Sunday. Panthers are 4-4, but got blown out by the Bills at home yesterday. Turning to Wisconsin, they're on their second bye week. It comes after an 0-4 October, in which they were outscored 116-17. They'll return for the bye to face Washington next weekend.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Bucs will look to bounce back from their first loss of the season when they host the Knicks tomorrow at Fiserv Forum. Milwaukee dropped its first game of the year yesterday in Cleveland, and Wisconsin going to play UW Platteville in exhibition action on Wednesday. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
He led the NFL in receiving yards today. What was working for you?
Man, it's just an incredible experience being able to come out here in front of our fans that travel so well and just put on. Like Jordan said, we came out at halftime, really just focus on being us and playing that true Packer brand of ball, bullying the bully, coming into a hostile environment. Ultimately, I'm just grateful that God put me here, the Green Bay Packers organization, surrounded me with such great people, and we can come out here and play a great game on beautiful weather.
And we have a special video. We had your bar in your hometown. I think we can roll the video. Here they are. Very excited for you. What's your message for them back in your small hometown?
Man, I'm just so grateful. Everything that they do for me behind the scenes, they're just, I don't have the words to articulate how I feel in the moment. It's just immense gratitude, and we just got to keep pressing on. We got to keep stacking these wins and keep rolling. But Timberlake, I love you. Thank you guys so much.
We came in the locker room at halftime. We just weren't finishing. We weren't executing our plays. We weren't locked in on doing everybody's 111. And so I think the message was just do your job, lock in, and execute plays and stay on the field. And we did that.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
All right, hour number 2, wide open phone lines. If you would like to discuss the Packers win over the Steelers, 608-321-1670. If you have a Badgers thought, I'll take your calls. We'll probably do more of that as the week goes along. I just gave you my 5-minute reaction to what we saw and heard over the weekend. And to reiterate, keeping it close does nothing for me. It's better than the alternative, but I've seen them keep it close against elite teams before. At some point, you got to win one of these games. Let's start with winning a Power 4 game. They've lost 11 of those in a row. They won 11 straight quarters. Was that it? Without scoring? So for people who are telling me, well, Catalano and Posa, who looked good? Well, I see the vision. I would have liked to see the vision like over 2 seasons ago. And I don't think that's unreasonable. Doesn't mean they needed to win a bunch of games to start Fickell's first year, although the program was winning when he arrived. So I wouldn't have complained about a couple more wins. But see the vision in this stretch of year 3 after 2 public votes of confidence from the athletic director. Like, no, that's not enough. It is confusing to me listening to what Tim Brando said on the broadcast and just reading some of the things online. Like, sometimes I wonder if we're watching the same games because the way that I'm talked to as a Badger fan or someone who consumes Badger football, it's like, you guys are spoiled or Fickell's actually been okay there. It's like, what world are you living in? Do you guys actually watch the games? Not to be that elitist where it's like, are you watching film? You don't even need to watch the film. Do you check final scores every Saturday? Like, are you generally aware of where they fall in the standings? Like, even a little? Because sometimes I wonder if we're all watching the same games. It's very weird. But that's about the extent of my thoughts on the Badgers. I thought last night was a showcase of exactly why the Packers drive us a little mad. Because in a span of about 45 seconds of real time, they turned a game from an absolute disaster to a signature win. They have the capability of being that good when it's cooking, when it's going right. And that's all they needed. It was essentially like the Golden State Warriors. They used to just put an avalanche run on an opponent in the third quarter, and that was it. That's basically what the Packers did last night. But I also think that's why some Packers fans get frustrated. It's like, for a quarter or two every week, we see it, and it's the best football I've ever seen. And then it disappears. Or they scuffle. They get in their own way. They can't execute the little details. It's all we hear about. Matt LaFleur talked about it today. Jordan Love talked about it last week. Details. Now, I'm mostly really happy with yesterday. I'm just saying the start versus the finish is the exact reason why I think this team, maybe by the end of the year, is going to drive some people crazy, because we see the high end. We see how good it can be. Just want it a little more often, a little more consistently. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Darnell.
Hey, Darnell, what's going on?
Hey, is there not like a blueprint for tight ends now at this point where you can stop looking at what they do in college and just start looking for a 6'5", 245-pound guy that runs this fast and has this big of hands, and then just teach him how to be an NFL player? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said this back at 4:00. This is why Tucker Kraft is so fun. Is the league, Darnell, is full of great wide receivers, full of great edge rushers, full of great running backs, full of even pretty good quarterbacks. It feels like there's never been such a diverse group of talented quarterbacks who all do different things. At any moment in time, there's like two guys like this: Gronk, Kittle, Jordan Reed for like a month. Remember him? Jimmy Graham, but he wasn't even like this. Like, having one of these guys on your team is so fun. Do recommend a lot.
Well, and not even just like, I think it's what you need to win Super Bowls. Like, if you look at look at Super Bowl winning teams in the last 7-8 years, the Chiefs, right, with Kelsey, and he's built just like Tucker Kraft. Goddard, big guy, won with the Eagles. You know, I feel like you have to have that big guy. If you have your speed guys on the outside, that's great. But if you find your one guy that can, you know, come across the middle, wear one from a linebacker, and then still pick up 30 more yards after, you know, like that's invaluable in the middle of like a tough gridiron match with, you know, a physical team. Like, if you have someone that can out physical linebackers and out physical safeties, and then go pick up 50 yards down, that is just invaluable in like a playoff game. And I think that's one of the reasons why they kind of fizzled out the last couple of years. They just didn't get their big guy involved as much as they should have.
Well, they got beat up by the Eagles, right? They got bullied. And here's another thing to consider, Darnell, when you're looking for a personnel advantage over an opponent. Corners in 2025 are Jair, Darius Slay, Christian Gonzalez. Like, these are fast, light athletes. Put those guys in the open field with Tucker Kraft and see what happens. Dude for the Steelers literally broke his leg last night on one of those plays. Like, these guys are not equipped to deal with an actual human musk ox in the open field. Maybe once upon a time, but even corners that come into the league, it's like, he's a hitter, he's a tackler. Yeah, until a year and a half down the road when he's had an injury and he's worried about his contract, right? Like, Kevin King came in as a hitter. Jair, I did the thing too, and then they separate their shoulder once and they never tackle again. Enter Tucker Kraft, and that's how you have 150 yards of yak on any given night.
What he's not even overly fast, which is the craziest part. On that long, I was like 59-yard prayer of a throw from Jordan, right? He takes the ball and just kind of like runs away. Like, no one wants to get too close to him.
He just runs away. That's a very good way of wording it. Yeah, he runs away.
He had his arm outstretched for like 30 yards of that run there, and just like kind of keeping him at bay. Like, oh, you're faster than me? Well, yeah, you want to get close to me? No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah. This is
it was cool. That was really cool to watch.
It's very fun to watch. I appreciate you, Darnell, because sometimes we start the 5 o'clock hour a little rudderless. And I think Tucker Kraft is actually the perfect place to start this hour. First of all, it's fun as hell to watch, like Darnell just said. There's only one or two. And you mentioned Kelsey. Kelsey's not this. Gronk, yes. Kittle, yes. We can talk about guys in my lifetime who've been elite pass-catching tight ends. I keep referencing Jordan Reed because he was such a flash in the pan, but he was that guy. Or Jimmy Graham, Kelsey. These guys are pass catchers. They're not that. I'm talking about a musk ox with a helmet on. And the way that defense has never been built lighter, you have safeties playing linebacker. You have corners who are, again, Christian Gonzalez, Darius Slade, Jair Alexander. They're light, they're fast, they're athletes. They're not hitters. Even the ones who are hitters coming into the league eventually stop being hitters because they separate their shoulder ones and said, oh my God, I got to try to get a contract. So they stop hitting. And then you just dump a ball off to Tucker Kraft, who's a rolling ball of chainsaws. Darius Slay is supposed to do something about that. Christian Gonzalez or Jair Alexander is supposed to stop. That's how you have a guy run for 150 yards just running away from guys because they don't even know how to begin to tackle that guy. It's not something that's, fundamental to the league in 2025 like maybe it used to be. Now, a tight end like that is always like they were always running over small defenders, but I think it's more exaggerated in this day and age because of the way that corners are built and we're playing safety and hybrid linebackers, up closer to the line of scrimmage, lighter and thinner than ever before. 608-321-1670. Let's take a couple more calls here. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
It's Ron from Madison.
Hey, Ron. What's going on?
Hey, last night was fun. That was a great win. I was highly entertained. But Tucker, the quarterback's best friend, especially on third down, it's your tight end.
Yeah.
And one more thing. When Emmanuel Wilson came in, instead of running the ball, he got some running space, caught some passes. I thought he gave a spark to the Packers offense the second half.
He looked better than Jacobs, didn't he, Ron?
Well, a lot of defenses now are gearing up to stop Jacobs.
Okay. Sure.
So you got to...
If you think a defense is like styled specifically for one running back or the other, that's a good call, Ron. I appreciate it. Here's what I don't understand, and maybe we'll get more into this tomorrow. I want to talk about the running game tomorrow. That's where we're going to start tomorrow night. I don't understand why they don't just give Josh Jacobs a week off. And I know Jacobs wants to play. I know. He's a competitor and a warrior, blah, 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 blah. I know. Just give him a week off. He's not good right now. He's not performing right now. You gave him the ball 3 straight times against a defense that can't stop the run, and you still had to go for it on 4th and 2, and you threw it to your tight end because you don't trust your running game to get a yard against that defense. Just give him a week off. I don't think for a second that Emmanuel Wilson is better than Josh Jacobs, but he's healthy, and the difference last night was clear. Emmanuel Wilson didn't run for 150 yards, but every time he got the ball, it looked measurably better than anything we saw from Josh Jacobs. And I know he got the touchdown. Like, that's one place where even a gimpy Josh Jacobs can help you because he's smart and he's seen everything and he can get you 3 yards into the end zone when you're on the 2-yard line. Sure. Other than that, just sit him for a week. Let him get his leg right. Because if the running game never gets off the ground this season, I'm not saying that this team can't go on a run and win a championship, but it gets a lot harder. Just give Jacobs a week off. Good Lord. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, Corey out of Marshall.
Hey, Corey.
Good evening.
Evening.
How you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm much better than this morning. Apologies for blowing up, but I was very passionate about Jordan Love.
I got to go get that audio. That was funny. That made me laugh. No, go ahead.
We're beyond that, though. It's all good. It's all good. So to your point about Tucker Kraft, I don't know if you saw that video they shared of his 9-man football thing in high school. It feels like that was like a damn giant running against a bunch of little people when they showed that video. It's like watching that one guy from high school that was just measurably bigger than everybody else. And It's a bit like, this is pretty old for most of the listeners probably, but it's like he's a more athletic and nimble Mark Bavaro, essentially, from like the 80s. The New York Giants. Go look up some YouTube videos of him, and you'll be like, you can see the similarities because he just kind of like would drag guys and would not go down easily. But Kraft has just got a higher level of speed and athleticism versus what he did. And to your point about the Badgers, I agree. Listening to that broadcast was pretty painful the other night. I was like, I don't know what you guys are watching here besides some other game when they're kind of ripping on the fans.
People talk about the Badgers like they're having a rough month in the middle of a tenure where they've been going to bowl games. And I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's like this is like a long-term nightmare right now in the last few years. And I'll tell you one thing right now, the athletic director, he buddied up with Mnuchin as soon as he got in there. So she's probably not going to fire him because she thinks he knows what he's doing. But when the season ticket renewal goes down another 20% next year, it's going to be too late to get a new coach. And they're going to have real problems then because then you won't have any money. You'll be just breaking even. And then the Board of Regents is going to need to get involved. I'll let you get going. I know you got to hit break, Grant.
Sorry to keep jumping in on you, Corey. I do apologize. It's just you bring up so many points, and I also want to discuss these points, but this is your time, so sorry to do that to you. The thing is, if they wait until next year to fire Fickell, yes, it's too late. If they wait until the end of the season, it's too late. Like, if you're going to move on from Fickell, you kind of need to do it. I mean, have you noticed there's coaches getting fired right now? It's because the transfer portal and everything is aligned in such a way where, like, it's not the NFL where you fire a guy on Black Monday and you have time to get things lined up before the draft and the comment. It's not how it works. So I don't know what Chancellor Mnuchin and Chris McIntosh are thinking about up there. I've said my piece on Fickell and why I think it's just dead. You can dump more money into it. My worry, look, I don't worry about this. They've been so bad. I worry about other things. But my worry is Cooper Catalano and Mason Posa just looked awesome against Oregon, and people want to celebrate that. Okay, are they going to be back next year? With or without Luke Fickell? Like, that's the thing. You can't, in this version of college football, like, just because something looks good in October of one year doesn't mean you can project that to August and September of the next. It's just not how it works. So let's keep it real, Mike, on the Badgers specific to Saturday, because we did so much last week that was big picture, and we can do that with Zach and Jesse throughout the week. But I just don't understand. I'll play this Tim Brando cut one more time, and then I'll get back to your phone calls.
Listen, Luke Fickell's been hearing it all. The noise is out there. And they've been banging on the doors at Camp Randall. A lot of no-shows for home games, and he's aware of it. I mean, it's something that he has mentioned more than just a couple of times this week. And with all these podcasters out there now that want to say, well, the relationships with high school coaches just isn't there anymore. How much do they really, really know? Probably not much.
It's fun. It's two-faced funnier. It's too fast. It's funny in two reasons. Number one, the Wisconsin podcasters, the ones on the beat, know a lot. That's their job. There's probably fewer people that know more. So if you're talking about Evan Flood, Zach Heilprin, Jesse Temple, Jim Polzine, Colton Buck, all these guys, like, they know a ton, Tim. And he's probably talking about Big Cat, who also knows a ton. So that part of the comment is just misguided. But the funnier, grander picture is these people need to lay off Luke Fickell, which is also hilarious because why? Like, why? Are you watching the game? You understand, like, where Wisconsin currently nationally is, right? If you just want to say, hey, he's a good guy, be nice to him, fine. But don't give me a football reason why any of this is an overreaction. I won't take it from Barry Alvarez. I certainly won't take it from Tim Brando. 608-321-1670. Got time for a couple more of these. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Isn't trusting the process going well, Grant, where, like, you know, you're in the third year of this and things are just progressively getting better, right?
People know what happened in Philly with the process, right? Like, Sam Hinkie got fired and it never got off the ground. So I know people like saying that, but.
Yeah. You're going through the exact same process that the Philadelphians were trusting with all that stuff. So it is what it is. I mean, it's a dead horse. What do you want it to do? I mean, like, it's good. It's been an okay season, I guess. Take the positives when you can get them. But I mean, the Packers, man, just focus on the Packers.
That's what we're doing.
How about having some real problems, like almost being done for the season? Who would have thought that getting an athletic African-American running QB to run our offense might actually do something rather than Cooper Rush?
Second part wasn't necessary, but yeah, having someone that plays more like Lamar and has won for you in the past probably was smart, yes.
And, I mean, it is, I guess, it gives us a little bit of hope, but
I think they're favored to win the North right now.
Right, but then you have the draft pick BS because you accidentally listed him as a full part. What is going on down there? Like,
I don't know, man.
Little things like that, man. It's unfortunate, but I am hoping that maybe he can come back on Thursday, and if they aren't doing, you know, too comfortable with it, Snoop can maybe get us through one more game. But I mean,
who do they got on Thursday?
Miami, which I was fine with until, they got two all fired up just the same way that they did with what's his name over in Justin Fields.
No, I agree with that, Hector. On the Ravens, they're favored. They're minus 110 at ESPN Bet right now. A lot of people, this is Florio's, bone currently. He's latched on the way that the Ravens were misleading with their injury reports. Look, you bet on sports. This is the type of stuff you sign up for. Now, competitively or misleading the opponent, there's that thing too, and maybe the league, levies some sort of sanctions. But if he's a full participant all week, and then his body doesn't respond well, like there is a legitimate football way for a player to practice all week and then not play. We've seen it with Jair Alexander. I don't know. This is just something that I don't lose a lot of sleep over because I'm not betting on them. And if you are betting on them, fine. But you realize that the idea of gambling on sports is in and of itself just kind of a ridiculous thing. Guys get hurt. There's misgivings throughout the week with injury reports and misleading this and that. Like it's part of the thing. So I don't really care. By the way, the more important story of the Ravens yesterday is what they did to the Bears. People are coming for Caleb again. Maybe we'll get into that tomorrow as the week moves along. 608-321-1670. This call and then one more. We'll break a little late just because we can clear the decks and get to all these phone calls. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Afternoon, Grant. In regards to the commentating on Saturday night, did anybody else find it funny that when they went to the screenshot of the commentators, how close they were sitting? Was it Devin Gardner and I forget the guy's name?
Yeah, Tim
Anybody
Brown.
else got a chuckle?
They just, it's a little, who are the guys from the Muppets? I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Look like that.
They were like conjoined twins. Like it was awkward. It was very awkward. Second thing, question. At what point, I don't even know the kids, I forget the kid's name that was our running back. He was so far in the depth chart. At what point is it like, when these guys get their money, and they're 5-star, 4-star recruits, at what point do they not play? They get paid. They probably push them really hard in the recruiting process. At what point do they not play? And this kid, I forget his name. At what point did that kid get a chance? He was running hard and he was running like he knew what he was doing.
Gideon Atuka, the running back?
Yes.
All right. So we could talk about this. I'm really struggling to make you out. Your connection's really rough. So Gideon Atuka seems to fit what they're doing offensively. And I was listening to Jesse and Zach talk about that. Appreciate the call. And he ran really hard. So I don't know what you're getting at with NIL. Like, should he just play? I mean, the running back room was so banged up. It's not like they're saving him. They needed a running back to play. Now, I know people want to talk about Carter Smith, and it's like when you get into the final 4 games, you can play without burning a red shirt. I've never cared less about a red shirt in 2025 because kids play or they leave. So you know what I mean? I just think it matters less. Hunter Simmons was so bad and so inept. I know we all say it can't get worse. Jesse will probably tell us Thursday that it absolutely can, and maybe that's a good reminder. I just don't understand how they could continue to kind of run some of the same guys out there and do the same things, and just I don't know.
How much do they really know?
Probably not much.
Probably not much.
All right, well, one more call here, and then we'll take our break. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Denny from home.
Hey, Denny. You sound dejected. What's up, man?
Well, we got our remains back of our Bassett, so it's kind of like reliving when he passed away all over again,
Again, I'm sorry to hear that.
I know. So here's my take. There's a lot of older people that purchase Badgers season tickets and stuff. And, I can't believe with Fickle as a coach, people knowing that next year that they're just going to renew like they do every year. I can't believe it, and I think it's a big, big part. I listen to Jesse. I listen to all your guys, and it's coming right from his heart. You don't like it either, but I think it's McIntosh and Fickle. I think they're both responsible for this.
Probably. And Big Cat's talked about this. Denny, we're going to have to talk more about this throughout the week because we're really late here. I'll actually pick a little bit of that up on the other side. We'll get back into the Packers as well. The Monday mailbag at 5:50. To submit your questions, grantbills21gmail.com. Gotta go. We'll be right back. I promise. I'll hurry.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Listen, Luke Fickell's been hearing it all. The noise is out there. And they've been banging on the doors at Camp Randall. A lot of no-shows for home games, and he's aware of it. I mean, it's something that he has mentioned more than just a couple of times this week. And with all these podcasters out there now that want to say, well, oh, the relationships with high school coaches just isn't there anymore. How much do they really, really know? Probably not much.
I know that some of you are like, why are we doing Badgers today? They haven't won a game in forever, and the Packers just came back. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to keep the Packers conversation, and that's the main thing today. I just can't believe that sound from Tim Brando. So I'm sprinkling a little bit of that in. And my take, hearing that sound and reading some stuff on message boards, specifically from LSU people, were like, let's go get Fickell. He's been better at Wisconsin. Everyone says he sucks up there, but he's been better. It's like, my takeaway is, are we watching the same games? When Tim Brando's like, I don't know why people are up Fickell's ass. I don't know. Maybe because he took a program that's been successful for 30 years and turned him into one of the bottom 2 or 3 teams in the Power 4. Like, maybe that's why. But then before that last break, Denny from Holman mentioned something, and Corey from Marshall referenced this as well. Right after he compared Tucker Kraft to Mark Bavaro, which is an incredible pull, they both pointed out, like, well, maybe season ticket renewals need to go down for the leadership at UW to really realize how bad this has gotten. And maybe the problem that I'm seeing with Tim Brando and on message boards and with other people, maybe that extends to the highest levels of the university, where actually, like, they don't realize how bad this is, or they're not grasping how bad this is. And it needs to get worse before they're like, oh, like, crap, do we suck? Which is scary, because that means they can't look at what's going on and accurately gauge what's going on, which is a bit of a problem for people in positions of power. Just a little bit. That's not ideal. So again, just mixing in a Badgers thought here and there, but mostly talking about the Packers and the Steelers last night. Get back to your calls here in about 30 seconds. Tucker Kraft, obviously the star. It's really fun having one of those guys on your team. Holy crap. There's only one or two of those guys in football at any given time. And it's really fun to have one on your team. And I also think the way that corners play now, they're all track stars that don't like to hit. Linebackers are basically safeties. No wonder Tucker Kraft can get 150 yards after the catch or 130, whatever it was. And I also think what the Packers did last night is an example of why they have such a high ceiling and why we have so much belief in them, despite really not seeing a complete game or a consistent game yet. They took a game last night that felt like it was about to be a disaster. I'm watching in the first half thinking, this sucks. They're going to lose a game in which they're favored. And then I'm going to have to go on the radio for 6 hours a day this week and complain about Matt LaFleur, complain about play calling, talk about drops, do a kicker controversy, which is the worst radio of all time. I'm like, this is going to suck. They took that and turned it into a signature win, a runaway signature win in like 45 minutes of real time. And that's why this team drives us a little crazy. It's like, guys, we know it's in there. That's why this team has the ceiling to be elite, even if we haven't, seen it consistently all the time. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Ann.
Thor?
Ann.
Sure. What's going on?
Yeah, I grew up 2 blocks from Camp Randall my entire life.
Okay.
And I've had tickets for 39 years, but I went to all the games before that and grew up with the Chris family, the whole works.
Mm-hmm.
We have a huge tailgate on Madison Street. It's just the trickle-down effect. I just have never seen this. And I know they sucked in the 70s. I was a little girl, but I take someone different to every game, and no one wants to go now. And I can't afford my season tickets unless someone buys the other ticket for face. And they keep upping my licensing fee. That it sucks. And it's like they don't want to admit it that they did not do the right thing.
Is it that they don't want to admit it? Because that I would admit, because then they're essentially admitting they're bad at their jobs, right? And maybe they should be doing their jobs. Or is it maybe what we're hearing with certain talkers around the country where, like, it's not that they don't realize how bad it is. You know what I mean? Like, McIntosh and Mnuchin, they realize how bad this is, right? Because if they don't, that's the worst problem imaginable.
You should have seen at the tailgate last week, there was 1 million empty parking spots, and he parks them full. 2 rentals on Madison Street. You can't even move. The cars are sold, and there was 1 million openings, and we bring all this food. We had tons of food left, and we're trying to give it away to anyone walking by.
Oh.
And it's so sad because I'm a huge My uncle played for the Badgers and the Packers. He's in the Hall of Fame for both. Eddie Jankowski. My hair salon's called Clipping after the football penalty. I'm a do or die hard. And it's just hard for me to watch this, and I don't. If people will go next year, I can't even afford my season ticket.
So, do you say they're upping your licensing fee?
Well, last year was my first time, and it was $50 a seat in A, and now this year was $75, and they were going to up it again to $100 a seat next year on top of so I'm paying $1,100 for my 2 tickets in A. I'm not even goal line. I love my seats, but my heart just bleeds red and white, and I'm just at a crossroads. I don't know what to do.
We got to drag RJ in here. I got to ask him about, because I think he's the same way. What did you say your name was? I'm sorry. You were just breaking up at the beginning.
Yeah, Annie.
Annie. Gotcha, Annie. Okay, well, I appreciate the call. Thank you for this. I hope things down there get better. But the thing is, you need to win one of these, which is why the Oregon game did nothing for me. And I'm not trying to be a prick, but I will not be stuck in the same cycle for the 3rd straight year where we watch the team get blasted, and then they get blasted, and then they get blasted, and then they don't get blasted. And everyone's like, maybe there's something there. And then they get blasted, and then they get blasted, and then they get blasted, and then we do the same thing next year. Like, I'm not doing that thing again. I'm not letting them off the hook because they showed up and didn't embarrass themselves. And also, we haven't heard from Vagabond John. I've seen his tweets. He's on a little bit of a heater right now. Now, granted, he's been saying a lot of these things for 2 years, and now reality has caught up to his narratives, which, I mean, can't we all dream? Don't we all love being right on the internet? It's actually maybe something that I love more than when my sports teams win. is being right on the internet. It's the best. So maybe we'll hear from Vagabond John at some point this week. I would like to posit that maybe Oregon is not as great as everyone says, or as maybe we previously thought. That Penn State win is not looking as good. I still think their offense is really good, but it was raining. So, and then their quarterback got hurt because Mason Posa broke the dude's nose, which is badass. Mason Posa looks like a player, but what? Am I supposed to go out and buy a Mason Posa jersey? You're telling me he's going to be here week 1 next year? If Luke Fickell gets fired, he's definitely not going to be. Luke Fickell's like, he's been going down to New Mexico every other week to watch his kid wrestle. And Cooper Catalano too. Like, yeah, these are nice players. Can you guarantee me they'll be playing week 1 next year? Is there going to be a quarterback that's healthy and capable of playing? Hunter Simmons is back. I mean, he's a freaking mailbox back there. Yeah. Take one more call here, then we'll take a break. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Ridge Runner Mark, how are we doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent, Ridge Runner. How about you?
Not too bad. So I'm not really focused on the Badger football.
That's
team
okay.
'cause
I'd rather have a Packers call right now. This is better.
So remember last week when I said, I don't need Jordan Love to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't need that, but sure does it feel good when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And especially against Aaron Rodgers, who in the first half, I'm like, oh boy, if we don't pull ahead here, he's going to pull some magic out. He can still do it. But then they proved why it was so great to get Micah Parsons, because even though he only sacked him once, boy, the sacks that happened, they happened at the perfect time to kind of kill any momentum they might have had and to increase our momentum by giving us the ball back, and we could chew up more time and score more points. It was just it felt like complimentary football, except for the 2 missed field goals in the first half.
Yep.
But can we chalk that up to injury? Maybe.
Well, Matt LaFleur in his presser today chalked it up to the fact that kickers miss kicks. And he said they pushed their boundary a little bit farther than they wanted to on the first one. He said in hindsight, maybe they should have done that differently, which, okay, whatever. But bottom line is he didn't attribute it to an injury or field conditions, which I know a lot of Packers fans wanted to do in real time last night.
Yeah, and we were having it really good with McManus anyways. He was missed, 1 last year or 2? So
I don't know.
These are his 2 misses. Who knows? But if that's the only thing that really bothers us and we still won by 2 scores or more than 1 score, I'm okay with it. And as long as we can build on this and do this, keep doing this against the Panthers, and then see where the chips fall where they may with the Eagles. Because, yeah, they're still good, but maybe now we have more of a drunk puncher's chance in heck, because we've got a better defense that can step up to the moment and get some pressure on the quarterback when we need him to.
I love a drunk puncher's chance. It's my favorite type of chance. That's a good call. And I'm glad, Ridge Runner, that you mentioned complimentary football, because I think when the Packers drew within, let me find it here, at the beginning of the third quarter, they drew within 16-14. They were down by 2 points. And when that happened, I got scared that the defense was about to go in the tank, because that's kind of what happened at times this year. The offense is cooking and the defense can't figure it out. And then the defense is cooking and the offense can't figure it out. We saw a little bit of that in Arizona. So the Packers draw within 2. The Steelers give up or get a field goal, so it's 19-14. And after that, starting the fourth quarter, Packers score a touchdown, defense forces a punt. Packers score a touchdown, defense forces a punt. Packers get a field goal, defense forces a fumble. Right? So the defense answered the offense in that fourth quarter, and that's why they were able to so quickly run away with it, is they weren't trading scores. The defense clamped down, and the Packers touchdown, just like that. We got to take a break. I'm a little bit behind. We need the Monday mailbag at the end of the show, grantbills21gmail.com. 2 of you on hold. If you can wait through this break, I promise I'll get to you without any delay right on the other side of this break.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
What's holding you guys back from getting to where you want to get to?
Detail. Some of it, certainly, I mean, we could call better plays at times. It just seemed like there was a lot of plays where one guy, it's all it takes is one person not being as effective as they need to be, and the play goes to crap. Collectively, we got to make sure that we get all 11 doing their job and doing it the right way. And I just thought that there was just a lack of detail, whether it's alignments or techniques or whatever it may be.
Details. We get a press conference answer or 2 or 3 every week. What do you guys need to work on? What's preventing you from being the team you want to be? Details. So anytime I hear it, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to play it on the show and hammer it home because it's a theme. Right back to your phone calls as promised. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Jeremy. How are you?
That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I think that for this game, I was inspired by that fourth quarter. You kind of touched on it earlier, but it was nice to see, like you said, about both sides of the ball working together at the same time. It's like the planets aligned. We have offense doing their thing. We have the defense doing their thing, and it's all happening at once. And I find it interesting that it happened in the fourth quarter because we've seen flashes of that, but it's usually like mid-game, like second quarter, maybe early third quarter. But now, like fourth quarter, to just see the planets kind of align, everybody getting together and like just shutting the door on this game. I was like, now we know what this Packers team looks like when they're firing, special teams, okay, whatever there, but we got to see what it looks like when everybody's working together offensively and defensively. So maybe, just maybe, it'll get better as the season goes on. They'll be like, hey, we're, now it's just fine tuning. Hopefully,
Yeah.
But I was happy to see the result of the game at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's guys, this is a signature win. Jeremy, I appreciate the call. That's a signature win. And that's their best win in 6 weeks since Washington. Is it perfect? Is it the perfect 4-quarter masterpiece? No. And to be fair, the thickest, heaviest Super Bowl contenders should have a couple of those. So I hope at some point before now and the end of the season, the Packers absolutely curb stomp somebody. Because I would like to see that. And we haven't really seen it yet. We've seen flashes of it. But that's a signature win. That's their best win in 7 months. You should be happy about it. And the way that the offense and the defense kind of harmonized at the end of the game to slam the door, absolutely. The offense playing well, the defense playing well, and the special teams were also a part of the game. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. 608-321-1670. One more phone call. This is our final one. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, you're talking about curb stomping like the Badgers have got you angry about something.
I'm not angry about the Badgers. I watched that game and laughed because they've kind of become an entertaining hate watch. I'm mad that people want to pee on my head and tell me that it's raining outside, like Tim Brando and others, where it's like, why are you guys so up in arms? It's like, I don't know, maybe because Luke Fickell has driven a good football program to the bottom of the Power Four. Don't tell me that that's not bad. I don't get it, Ryan.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing that I can even point to that's good with the Badgers at this point, and that's for me, that's an ignorant take because I've just stopped paying attention because of the rapid decline over the last few years. I just wanted to say that yes, the Packers have not had a perfect 4-quarter domination of a game yet. Is it really fair to ever expect that of that many different people trying to do something, though, with so much going on mentally? Just be happy with the win and with the narratives that were stomped into the ground as Jordan Love outclassed, outdid and outclassed Aaron Rodgers. Like, why can't people just be happy?
Well, so I'm not going to tell you how happy you should be. I think you should be happier about this one than the last two. Now, how happy, that's for you to decide. I'll tell you not to be upset. That would be ridiculous. But you find whatever happiness you want to find. The narratives, Ryan, are true because I saw clips from, whatever, ESPN or Today on shows. It's like, last night proved that the Packers made the right choice. It's like, guys, that was like 3 years ago. And the Packers have been to the playoffs twice since then. Like, we weren't debating that. That wasn't now that's how sports work. So we're going to perceive it that way. But like, that's not what was on the line last night. That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's just such a what have you done for me lately point of view in regards to Love. And the other thing that last night's game showed is how ridiculous and incompetent PFF is in terms of evaluating player performance, because Emmanuel Wilson with a 45.8, are you kidding me?
Is that bad?
Number one. Yes, terrible. Number two, Jordan Love with just an 81.3.
What is this out of? Is this out of 100?
Yeah, essentially. Now, if someone like Juan Thornhill on the other side for the Steelers was as terrible as he is, he had a 24.3 overall grade. And that's like dark red in the color next to the number. It means, F minus.
F.
But, my God, yeah, PFF is just clearly not to be trusted because Jordan Love played a 97 game and he got 81.3. Like, anyway, have a good night, Grant.
Yeah, you too. No, you can take a pot shot at PFF on the way out the door. The grades, this has been litigated 1,000 times. They're a fine guide. They're not perfect. Use your eyes. You guys all watch these games. You're smart. We're smart. We're not just fans. We're owners. We're smart. We know what's going on. We don't need grades to tell us who's good and who's bad. Emmanuel Wilson, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow. He looked better than Josh Jacobs. And I don't think it's because Josh Jacobs is washed or that Emmanuel Wilson is some star. Josh Jacobs is hurt. Give him a week off. Please. It's not helping anyone that he's out there. Road America sponsors the show. Season passes are discounted through the end of the year, so please get them. Be a great Christmas gift. And the prices will go up, obviously, once the calendar turns. So roadamerica.com. The events calendar is there. You can circle the weekends that you're most interested in. Next year, we appreciate their support of the show. And always just a tremendous trip to that side of the state that I don't think enough people, at least in my life, ever took advantage. You go to the Dells, you go to Milwaukee, you see a Brewer game, you go to Madison, you go to Devil's Lake, you go up north. What about Road America? Over in the beautiful Fox Valley. So roadamerica.com. We appreciate their sponsorship of the show. Season passes available, and you can check out the events calendar for next year as well. The Monday Mailbag will conclude the show when we get back. Submit your questions. Last minute, plenty of time. GrantBills21@gmail.com.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Because the mail never stops.
Charles, we'll be writing to you.
She's Got Mail. That's the name of the movie.
That's it, honey. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. You got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
The Monday Mailbag. It's made possible by your questions. GrantBills21@gmail.com. A light mailbag tonight, but that's okay because we only got a couple minutes anyways. Works out well. Tyler in Massachusetts, frequent question asker, consistent provider of good content, says, I played golf in Southern Mass yesterday, and I was the last group ahead of a kids tournament starting behind our foursome. When I got to the first tee box, I saw a sign with 6'7". Like trying to understand the 6'7" craze among kids. What is the biggest thing that makes you feel old? Hope you played well on Saturday. I actually did. Thank you for asking. I think this is the first thing ever, honestly. I feel like with most trends, I've been able to hang okay. The 6'7" thing has gone. This and Hawk Tua. It's funny. One of my best friends is not an elementary school teacher, like 7th, 8th grade kids. So I'll ask them all the time, like, what's their thing right now? And you cannot understand how big of a deal Hawk Tua was. And the Talk Tua podcast, you can't fathom how big of a deal that was for the kids. I still don't really understand what 6'7". I don't think it means anything, which is the thing. It's just something you say. Okay. And there's been plenty of examples of that in my life where it's like, why did we say that? I don't know. Because why not? But definitely the 6'7" thing. You're talking about it, Tyler. Tony in Eau Claire says, good evening, Grant. Do you prefer pizza sliced in triangles or squares? I can't be convinced that squares have a place in this world. Slices for life. Well, it depends on the pizza. I am always for ease of eating. What is the way to eat something that is going to keep the grease and meat and cheese and crumbs off my hand? This is why I don't usually get burgers when I go places. Although, free shout out once after we golfed Saturday, went to the Village Bar, got a brick burger. It was good. So I'll make exceptions. I don't like picking up. I don't want to wear what I'm eating. Big proponent of silverware. Now, pizza, come on. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to eat pizza with a silverware. Squares does have an appeal to me because it's more manageable. It's more handleable. Does that make sense? So like Little Caesars, that slices and I'll rip that to pieces. And if I make like a frozen pizza, I'm going to cut that in slices, but I'm not anti-square. I don't think I've really answered your question other than don't sleep on squares. They have a place too. I'm always for ease of eating. What is the cleanest way to get that food from the plate into my mouth? And if it's a square, then I'm eating squares. Plus, you can eat more squares than slices. Healthier. Fewer calories. Josh says, thanks for mentioning the Rewatchables podcast. It's so good. My favorite podcast now. What's your favorite episode or couple? Is this from when I talked about it with Jesse? That was so long ago. Or has it come up more? Maybe it came up more recently. I don't know. My Tony from Texas Top 5. Wayne's World, Silence of the Lambs, Good Will Hunting, Tin Cup, Blues Brothers. Josh Menominee. So I've never listened to any of those. I haven't heard most of them. My favorite, and one that I've listened to a couple of times, is when they do No Country for Old Men with Bill Hader. This is one of my favorite movies. And it's cool to listen to Bill Hader just like, well, first of all, it's cool to hear him talk about the movie because I really like the movie, but also Bill Hader talks about his show Barry and how he pulled like Coen Brothers stuff and like certain things from the way that No Country from Old Men was done. I can't remember if he talks about like ways that they made the show more unsettling or just certain things that they took from that to put into Barry. That's interesting. So No Country for Old Men. Oh, and Fletch, because that just might be my favorite movie. Those are probably my two favorites. Also, I need Chris Ryan on it. Fennessy can be a little much. Russillo, whatever. He's like Rich Bisaccia for me. I guess he's needed, even though I don't always love the contributions. Yeah, Fletch and No Country for Old Men. Good question. We'll do it again next week. Tomorrow, more Packers, more Badgers. I guess we're just going to keep hitting the football stuff. So if you didn't get a chance to join tonight, I want to talk about the running game and Josh Jacobs tomorrow. And